What is up, everybody? It is Lawrence again from My Squeakers, and today we have a very fun sneaker based on a very imaginary basketball team called the Rayguns. The Rayguns were an imaginary basketball team created by Nike in an alternate universe for some commercials way back when. I don't remember the exact details of who they played for, but it was a superstar-studded basketball team. And those commercials were widely successful, and I don't remember all the things about them, but they were really, really cool. But that's where the idea of ray guns come from. So without further ado, here is the Nike Blazer Ray Guns. Alright, so let's start with the rundown so we can help you make your purchase decision. So this sneaker, the Blazer, is $110 for the Ray Gun version. I believe retail for the Blazer 77 Vintage in general is somewhere between $90 and $100. I don't remember exact retail price, but it's somewhere in that range, so this is a little more expensive than your typical Blazer. When it comes down to sizing, this is the hardest thing about the Blazer. If you have a chance to try these on in-store in any way, shape, or form, I would definitely go into the stores to do that. The reason is because it is a long and narrow shoe, almost like clown-like if you were to think about it. And so for most people, if you have a narrower foot, then you could possibly go true to size. But if you even have a regular foot or a bit of a wider foot, you'd have to go up half a size, but then it'd be super long. And so that's kind of the give and take. And so based on where you think you fit into the spectrum of thin and long, that's what she said, then I would go based on that. But if you have a chance to try it on, I would definitely try it on, because this is one of the hardest shoes to size, because it honestly, it's just not very, whatever like tooling they utilize is just not that great for sizing. From a comfort level perspective, this is a sneaker that released in the 70s for people to play basketball. Same technology there. Give it a 4 out of 10. And finally, in terms of looks, I give these a high 7 out of 10. These look really great. I'd say that there's Blazers that look actually very similar to this, but the one cool thing about this one is that the sequins change color. So as you can tell, from one side it is yellow, and then once you kind of flip the script, it turns green, and that green is almost exactly the same on the lateral side as it is on the medial side. So really, really cool concept, but I would say that you don't have, the durability on these sequins is not very high. I already have some of them stuck, and I've only played with it a couple times, and so really, really novel, but at the same time, you know, not too many people are going to notice it. I kind of do like the green more than I like the yellow, but it's still a really, really cool concept that I don't even think Nike put on the website, which is kind of surprising because they're usually pretty good at marketing this type of stuff. Alright, so let's get into the review of the Roswell Rayguns Blazer Vintage 77. So let's start with the upper like we always do. The upper is made out of a leather, really, really cheap leather to be honest, predominantly white, and has overlays of random things throughout it. So this Blazer obviously has sequins that changes colors and an outline that is stitched onto the Nike Swoosh. And then there's contrasting yellow stitching all throughout, so you can definitely see that all throughout the sneaker itself. Finally, in the front, you also have a suede panel that is also done with the contrast stitching, but that is done in a light gray. And you also have this little piece over here that is also done in a suede. I'm not exactly sure what it's for, but it's actually a smoother suede than I would expect. It's a little nicer than I think some of the other suede panels that I've seen used on the Blazer, but it's not high quality by any means. Moving into the medial side of the sneaker, you have a green swoosh instead of the sequins, which, you know, you don't really need two sides of sequins. It's a little too much. Don't be greedy. Moving up the back, you have an orange panel, also done in leather with Nike there. So you have a lot of these like retro vintage type vibes, which is kind of cool. And then the main thing about the Roswell Rayguns that are here is this Martian symbol. The Roswell Rayguns mascot was a Martian, so that's what that looks like. Moving up into the top of the sneaker, you have flat style lacing. One of the biggest gripes I have about the Blazer in general is that there's way too many freaking lace holes. There's way too many. Like if you ever try to change laces, it's pretty much an hour endeavor. Then finally you have a deconstructed tongue with frayed foaming. That is done in a bright yellow to kind of like make that color pop on the sneaker. It matches the contrast stitching that's all throughout. And then finally on the laces you actually have a yellow tip as well. So really, really cool colors in terms of combinations. And then on the inside, on the insole, you'll see Rayguns are imprinted in there. Moving over to the midsole, you have your standard vulcanized midsole. This was actually, at the time when it was first released, a process that was actually only available and could be done in Japan. It's got a herringbone pattern on the bottom as well for the outsole. And I'd say that, you know, if anyone has worn a blazer in the past, they're pretty squeaky. And so, you know, it definitely fits my channel style, you know what I'm saying? So what are my thoughts on this sneaker? I think these are super fun. I mean, like, they were made to be fun. The Roswell Rayguns were made to be fun. It has a really funky vibe to it. There's nothing wrong with this. It's not my style, and so the chances of me rocking this are pretty slim. But I think that they did knock it out of the ballpark in terms of making a shoe that's both wearable, tells the story of the Roswell Rayguns, and has, honestly, just aesthetic appeal in today's kind of style and fashion and things like that. So I dig it. It's not a shoe for me, but I definitely dig it. From a perspective, don't expect much. These fit funky, they wear funky. Wear them for style, wear them for lifestyle, do whatever you want with them, but for the most part, wear them until they break. I mean, that's the point of blazers. And that's it, guys. If you have any questions, definitely leave that in the comments below. If you like this content and this video, definitely give it a thumbs up to help with the algorithms. And if you want more content like this, squeak all over that subscribe button. Until next time, this is the Roswell Rayguns Blazer 77 Vintage.